Some men chase fashion like a fox hunt, wild, chaotic, and gone in a blur. Others dress like statues. Timeless, yes, but frozen in the past. But the gentleman, he moves with purpose, dresses with meaning, and learns from every fit, every thread, and every knot that graces his collar. I recently did a podcast with Mark Milliton, and I thought you guys might enjoy part of the conversation. Mark has helped companies generate over $1 billion in email revenue, so I was excited to see him interested in improving his dress and presentation. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm Ben, and I explore the mind, the look, and the way of great men. Tune in as Mark and I talk about the look of great men, as well as a little bit of business wisdom sprinkled in.
How about the actual tie knot? Do you have a knot that's your favorite?
The most popular necktie knot in the world is the Double Windsor.
I learned how to tie a Double Windsor when I was in my fraternity in college. That was the first time, yeah.
Well, and the reason it's the most popular is because that's the one that everyone learned as a kid or maybe as a young adult. The problem with that knot is it takes a lot of length. If you're 6 foot or above, or even like 5'8" or above, if you tie a Double Windsor, you're not going to be able to get the tail through the keeper loop. They call this the keeper loop.
I ran into that issue for years. I'm 6'2", and it's been a challenge. Yeah, you need a long tie.
But for kids, their ties are always too long. So that's why you teach a kid the Double Windsor. As an adult, there are some better knots. If you want to stick with a symmetrical knot, the half Windsor is a great option. There's another knot that even takes less length than the half Windsor. One is called the Oriental knot. That's a good knot. If you don't need a symmetrical knot, you can use the 4-in-hand knot. That uses very little length.
Very cool. Loved it. Ben, I'd love for you to give us a little background on how you got started in this space with men's fashion and with your business.
So I was serving as a missionary in Russia. This was 2004. The way they handle visas is they just kick you out of the country. And so we would get kicked out to Korea. And I went the first time to one of these giant malls in Korea, these Asian malls, and just saw more neckties than I ever thought existed. And they were beautiful, and I was amazed at how affordable you could buy them there. And so I ended up talking a partner into investing in a small venture where we would go and buy ties over there cheaply and come back to here and sell them for a profit. And the rest is history. I quickly found out that selling cheap ties door to door wasn't gonna make a whole ton of money. People were asking me for a website, so I built a website. The first problem I had there was no one came to the website.
Just because you build it doesn't mean they come, yeah.
Yeah, so then I was like, well, what can I do? What can I do? This was early days on YouTube, and so I posted a video how to tie a tie. At the time, I didn't even know more than one knot. I was young, and I didn't even know the name of that knot, but I posted a video on YouTube, and eventually it started getting views, and now we're here today. So it's been a while, but that's kind of the short history.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was going back through your YouTube channel, and I saw the first video was posted 17 years ago. So you've been doing it for a while. That's exciting. That's awesome. Would you say the main goal of your YouTube channel is to promote and grow MyNiceTie, or is it a mix of both, the monetization of YouTube and the business around MyNiceTie?
Yeah, the goal used to be to sell ties. When I started working on it full time, I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out what that goal is. And the most succinct way I can summarize that goal is I want to teach the way of a gentleman through mindset, presence, and conduct that make a man. So again, there's a lot packed into that one sentence, but the way of a gentleman, the mindset, presence, and conduct that maketh a man. I want men to become better men, and I do that through content and through sharing my own experience and the success that I've had, hopefully making them more successful, more happy, more wealthy, more wise, and more effective at making the world a better place. I had just begun to formalize our mission as Mark asked that question. I've since refined it to what I said earlier, the mind, the look, and the way that maketh great men. What do you think of our focus? Let me know in the comments. And if you like it, share this channel with someone who might benefit from it. I think my answer got Mark thinking about the look of great men, with his next question.
What should every man have in his wardrobe when it comes to suits?
Well, this is one question I asked during our menswear tour across the U.S. Last year, I did a menswear tour where I went and asked different people in this industry that exact question, like, what should a man have in his wardrobe? And the number one thing you should start with if you don't have a wardrobe is a navy suit, similar to what I'm wearing, maybe even a little bit darker blue. But of all the suits you could buy, if you don't have a navy, that's the first one you should have in your closet.
You would even say a navy over just a standard black suit.
Oh yeah, navy's the first color. It's the most versatile. You can dress it up with a necktie and a pocket square. You can dress it down with tan chinos and some loafers. You can play with the shirt color, take the necktie off and have a fun pattern on your shirt. Navy is the most versatile color you could have. So if there's one thing I'd recommend, it's a navy suit.
So along the years, when did you originally launch the actual brand? Was it back in 2007, 2008? Or when did you officially get a e-commerce site and actually try to start selling online?
I built my first website, e-commerce website, around 2008, I think it was. And at the time, it was early days of the internet. Not super early, but early enough. And I was in a Big Lots store, and on the shelf there was a web.com build your own website box. And I remember grabbing it. I was so excited because all my customers had been asking for a website. You know, do you have a website? What can I buy these ties online? And I ran to my wife and I was like, look, this $100 box is on sale for $10. I want to buy it. And we were poor college students at the time. And she's like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You will not buy that. And I talked her into it, and that's when we built our first website. It was actually a $10 build your own website. Building that taught me a little bit about web and the power of e-commerce, and so rebuilt it. I think the first time we rebuilt it, it was in Magento, and then we rebuilt it on Shopify, and we've been on Shopify ever since.
When it comes to ties, what do you recommend every man should have in his tie collection?
That's a great question. So there's 4 colors you should have in ties. Let me say this before I even get into those 4 colors. People think, especially in America, that, oh, if I'm gonna wear a tie, I need it to reflect my personality. It has to be bright and, you know, it has to have a pattern that I like. Men underestimate the power of a plain tie. If you have no other ties, start with 4 plain colors: olive, burgundy, gold, and navy's a good one to go with as well. Play with texture more rather than play with pattern or stripes. The texture gives you a little bit fresher look, gives you that kind of casualness while still maintaining the professionalism of the neckties.
That's awesome. And what else should we include? Like when it comes to shoes, maybe accessories, like we're putting together a fit right now. What else should we do to really elevate a man's wardrobe and his closet?
Yeah, so you got your suits. The next thing I would say to go to is shirts. And people, again, underestimate the power of a white shirt. Start with white, then expand from there. However, don't jump right to these really flowery patterns or really bold colors that are attractive to the eye. What happens is you walk into a menswear store and you're like, wow, there's 50 patterns. I need to choose one of these. Really? The more you study about menswear, you realize that there are some timeless patterns that never go away, that look good on every person. And one of those is the white shirt. The next is a white and blue striped shirt. I don't care who you are, you take a white and light blue striped shirt with the thicker stripes, throw it on some tan pants, throw a navy sports coat on, you're gonna look amazing. Other subtle colors like light pink, even black, but you have to be careful if you go black because I see a lot of people mess up trying to match neckties to black shirts. Yeah, so suits, then shirts. After that, it's all about the shoes. And here, again, a lot of people make the mistake of going to the shoe store and seeing what attracts my eye. What attracts your eye in a shoe store is not gonna be what attracts people's eyes on the street when you're dressed in a suit. You can never go wrong with just plain Oxford shoes. The first would always be black because the black shoe can go with the blue suit, the black shoe can go with the charcoal suit, the black shoe can go with any other color suits. that you buy. So it's the most versatile. If you're going to a funeral, you want to be in all black, so you need that shoe. That's why it's the first one you buy, is a black Oxford. The next is brown, because brown can go with charcoal, brown can go with navy. And then after you have those two colors of shoes, you can start playing. The next shoe I would recommend a loafer, especially if you're looking to adopt the trend of a little skinnier pants, skinnier, shorter pants. You can look really good with a nice loafer. And so the biggest rule to remember with shoes are you need to match the leather of your other accessories. So if you're wearing brown shoes, you need to wear a watch with a brown leather strap, a belt with a brown strap. So that's one rule to remember. And then also match the metals. If your watch has silver, your belt buckle should be of silver. If you have a buckle or a metal piece on your shoe, it should be in silver. So a couple rules just to keep in mind as you're building out your wardrobe from scratch.
That's cool. Love it. What are you doing now, like with the business? What's your big plan with it?
Well, my focus right now is, as I said a little bit briefly, to just help men understand the power of presentation and kind of educate them on why we do things the way we do them with our dress, particularly suits, neckties, how to buy a good suit, how to dress it, what colors to wear, what colors are going to be most effective, how to affordably present yourself in a way that's professional, and different topics in that realm.
That's awesome. What's your favorite necktie?
That's a good question. I wore this one today because I really like it. I love the texture of it. It's still a very solid color, but it's warm and inviting. And yeah, this one's probably my favorite. I have another navy knit tie, but these two are my favorite. I really like my freedom of speech tie, but when I made it, I made it in a blue color because that's symbolic of freedom. But if I could go back, I would have made it in a more versatile color.
I think what you're doing is incredible, because anytime someone asks me, how should I start a brand? And I hear this all the time from friends and family and people in my network, and when I'm speaking at events, I hear, Mark, I have an idea. I want to start something. Where do I go? And I say, build an audience and build it on YouTube, because YouTube's like the long tail. It's the hardest platform to build on. A video that you make today is exponentially more valuable in 3 to 5 years than it is tomorrow, right? And unlike, TikTok and Instagram, where shorts have a 24-hour, 40-hour life cycle for the most part, unless you have something crazy viral. And so I think, I always tell people, build an audience on YouTube and continue to build a brand off of that audience. So what advice would you have to anyone that's starting up today, or even an existing brand owner that wants to syndicate and build their own content but doesn't know how to get started?
I'd say make sure you're passionate enough about the topic and that you have expertise in it, and then commit. You have to commit for the long term. Commit for 2-3 years to at least publish once a week, or if your videos are really high production quality, maybe you can get away with once a month, but make that commitment and just keep going, because YouTube, that's one thing that YouTube does great. They find the audience. I see them, I post a video on a new topic all the time, and you can go into analytics on YouTube and see who's watching this and get understanding of what audience YouTube thinks you're making for. And so, yeah, 1, be passionate. 2, just dedicate your efforts to that for the long haul. And then I guess 3 would be pay close attention to analytics, because that's going to help you understand your audience. And like you said, and like I said, understanding your audience is the first step to any business, really. That's everything from the interview I thought you might like. Speaking of audience, I want to get to know you better. Drop a comment of what stuck out to you in this video. For me, one main thing stuck out. True style, like true wisdom, only gets better with time. Thank you for watching. We're dropping videos and shorts almost daily, so tune in to explore the way that maketh great men. I'm wearing a navy wool made-to-measure suit and white shirt with matching trousers. For some color, I've added a burgundy grenadine necktie with a half Windsor knot, and a white burgundy bordered pocket square with an angled peak fold. My chronograph watch matches both my sterling silver bullseye cufflinks and my chili colored Oxford shoes. I'm also wearing my signature summer fragrance, Coach for Men. Support the channel by browsing these links below. And join me on the American Menswear Tour with this playlist. Or learn how to measure for and buy a suit online with this video. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button to elevate your presence. And as always, gentlemen, keep looking classy. I'll see you at the top.